Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Thank you so much for joining me. On the table in front of us is something from the folks at Olight, but it's not a light. No, let's not be confused. I'm just being funny because I think I'm hilarious. You don't have to. This is the Oknife Drever, and it's surprisingly good. Now, I like Olight. You may not, but I do. I have a few that I rely on, right? Olight makes fantastic flashlights. Now, flashlights are as personal as knives. So I said that, and some of you went, no, they don't. Well, that's the nice thing about knives and flashlights. You don't have to like what I like, but I do like Olight. You know, they really make, for me at least, the right stuff. And when I heard they were making knives, I thought, well, that's interesting. And then when I heard they were making knives using Kaiser as their OEM, I said, yeah, okay, let's give that a shot. And this is what we got. Now, they have a few knives out now. This is the first one I've had my... Wow. This is the first one I have had a chance to get my hands on. And I like it. So let's talk about this knife. First, it is a modified sheep's foot, or kind of worny sheep's foot blade. It is N690 blade steel, which I like. I've had really good luck, particularly with Kaiser's N690. The scales are exceptionally comfortable, really, really well sanded and milled down. Sorry about that. You'll notice a little camera jump. Okay, the scales. They are really well polished G10. It's a liner lock, and as you can sort of see in this light, we are locked up at about 50%, which is not too bad. The liners are milled for some weight reduction. It's got a very nice stamped steel pocket clip, which I like just fine. It's got these lovely blue accents. There are a couple of methods of deployment on this thing. There is a really sort of little flipper tab, which works very well. And then there are these nice thumb studs, which also work very well. That's important in a knife. You want the deployment method to work. Unfortunately, not all companies seem to get behind that, but Kaiser's pretty good at it. The folks at Olight brought forth a really nice knife. It's got a really large choil up here, so you can come forward on the blade if you want. The blade itself is shaped in a... Well, the shape alone is really good for your everyday tasks, and I know I've cut a ton of stuff with this thing. Nothing too heavy and hard. This isn't our knife. This belongs to Cue Ball, who is, well, just a really nice guy for sending these along. I'll go ahead and put a link to his Instagram. He does have an Instagram, right? Women Carry Knives? Yeah, I'll link his Instagram down in the description. Unless he tells me not to, in which case I won't. He loaned us a stack of knives, and we're really grateful for that. I dig this thing. I didn't think I was gonna. You know, when I first saw the pictures of it, it's a little lean. It's not, it's not really the kind of knife that grabs my attention right off the bat. But I was wrong. This is a really nice knife. And that makes me very happy. In fact, as a cutter, it reminds me a lot of my Atom. Right? They have very similar blade lengths. They definitely have a similar grind. This is a very thin, slicey grind, as is the Atom here. They both have lean designs. Right? Now, granted, the Drever is a weird name for a knife. All right, Drever is a little thicker, but they're not... I don't know how to explain it. It's just got a feel in hand and a working tool sensation to it that reminds me a lot of my TRM Atom, and that is saying something. So let's get some size comparisons out of the way, and then we'll do specs. We'll go ahead and line that up on the line right there. Here it is against our old friend, the Rat Model 1, as you can see. You get almost identical. Now, mind you, this is slightly modified, so you get just a little less cutting on the Drever than you do, but you get a lot less handle. This is an oddly shaped knife, the Rat 1. I don't understand why people love it as much as they do, but they do. I wonder if I have the standard one laying about here. Hang on, gang. I do not. But as an alternate large knife, which is unmodified, here it is against the Presidio 2 from Benchmade. As you can see, the Drever is considerably smaller than that. Here it is against an unmodified Benchmade bug out. At this point, unmodified bug outs are getting harder to come by. Everybody's turning them into something of their own. I'm thinking about playing with this one a little bit, but maybe not. As you can see, the Drever is, again, almost exactly the same amount of cutting area because of this really large forward choil. But this is a very comfortable handle, and when you choke up on this thing, it is ridiculously comfortable. Action is very good. Really, just Kaiser good. Just smooth. I came dead centered. I do like the blue highlights. I know, blue's not always my thing, but when it's done right, I really dig it. The blade is stonewashed, and it is really, it's done very well. And what I mean by that, it is even and consistent and very smooth. It doesn't feel like it's going to rub off or wear off or, I don't know, I just think they did a great job. And yet it's a little bit distressed on purpose, right around the, it's got this little bit of a, I want to say fuller, but that's not what I'm looking for. Swedge, that's the word. It's got this lovely swedge up here at the rounded off tip, and right the line where it swedges, where it comes in towards the swedge has been distressed a little bit, as has this line back here at the plunge. It's well done. There's a little bit of jimping right here on the blade. It's relatively smooth though. I don't get a lot of purchase with that. It's almost too small. However, the jimping on the flipper tab works beautifully. Close profile on this guy is pretty good. We're looking at, including the flipper tab, we're looking at 1 1/8 inches, right? Really lean in the pocket. I really like that. The overall length closed is 4.5 inches. Overall length from tip to tail is just at 8 inches. Cutting edge is 3 inches. Overall blade looks to be 3.5 inches total, right? It's just a nicely sized knife. I really love this close profile. I mean, that is, it's deep carry, right? It just vanishes in the pocket. Does have a little bit of a pocket pecker, all due respect to Nick Shabazz, but it's been milled, it's chamfered out, right? So it's not going to tear up stuff in your pocket. This has been a real joy to carry. It's just an all-around nice knife. Now these come in at about $70, which is not unusual for, well, Kaiser quality. We're going to go with that because it's not a Kaiser knife. It's an Olight knife, but that's who made it. So I think $70 for N690. It's running on bearings. It is really nicely done really nicely done G10. Relatively simple construction, right? 1 barrel spacer, 1 tail screw. You cannot flip the pocket clip, which is a little bit of a bummer because this would have made a really nice lefty and righty knife, but it is what it is. It's got a nice pivot. I have not taken it apart, so I don't know if the pivot is locked in with shape or anything, but as I said, Kaiser's pretty good at what they do. It has flush-mounted screws on the inside of the clip, so there's no interference with this thing going in and out of the pocket. You cannot access the blade anywhere from the back of the knife, so it's never going to cut you unless you tell it to by putting your finger on the very sharp edge here, which you shouldn't do. In all, for $70, I think you are getting a heck of a knife. And again, I'm an Olight, not fan, but they are a favorite. And that they've decided to bring new stuff to the market other than flashlights and done a good job of it makes me pretty happy. And that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. This is the Olight Drever. It is N690. It is G10. It is running on bearings. It is a superb little pocket knife from a company that is working to expand their market. And frankly, if they keep doing stuff like this, I think they're going to be successful. Thank you so much for watching. I have been a Therapeutic Edge. We'll see you next time.